the Irish guy, and who is getting sacked? Come on then. Who's the next Premier League boss that's gonna go? Lads, today I'm gonna tell you the exact month and year when every current Premier League boss leaves their job. Right, let's go. November 2024, Gary O'Neill. Can someone please put Gary O'Neill out of his misery? Do you really want me to sit here every week comparing his tactics to that of a gorilla sandwich? I'm sorry, but if I was one of his players, trying to listen to instructions from someone who literally just fluked a job at Bournemouth off the back of buttering Klopp his toast, just no. O'Neill is embarking on a ridiculously dreadful run, and lads, if and when Wolves get beaten by Manchester City in their next match, then it's official. They will have taken less points from the last 18 Premier League matches that Derby County took from their first 18 Premier League matches in 2007 when they became the worst ever team on 11 stupid points. But lads, Wolves just gave O'Neill a sparkling, fresh new 4-year deal in August, and yeah, but plans change quickly. Don't forget, Jose Mourinho was given a fat new 4-year deal at Chelsea in August 2015. He was sacked before Christmas. Surely Wolves cannot keep persisting with this managerial gremlin. Someone who looks like he should be working at Gringotts Bank. As he looks like the product of someone mating with an elf. Look, O'Neill is 41 and he's so inexperienced. Christ above, this summer was the first ever preseason he ever took as a manager. This job is too big for him. Come on, you've given him a Brazilian generational talent like Andre, which is like giving the keys to a Lamborghini to a goblin who can't see over the steering wheel. I think Wolves lose their next 3 games. And so honestly, after a home defeat to Crystal Palace on November the 4th, O'Neill is gone. And in his place, I'm going to say Wolves are going to go big and beg Rafa Benitez to save the day, whilst O'Neill's next job, Huddersfield Town. November 2024, Russell Martin. It's never a good sign when a newly promoted manager is already ripping into his players. And the truth is, the Saints have taken just 1 point from their first 7 matches. And the players keep foolishly playing themselves into trouble with garbage mistakes. Lads, Vincent Kompany was lucky not to get sacked at Burnley last season, but they kept him because you could see he has star quality as a coach. But does Martin? I mean, don't forget last season, when Southampton were bad, they were awful. Like 4 defeats in a row in September, where they conceded 9 goals in 2 matches. He was lucky not to get sacked. They let in 4 at home to Norwich too. They lost 3 out of 4 games in February, collapsed with 3 defeats in a row in the spring, including yet another 5-0 defeat. Kompany was always going to one day be a future European giant manager, but Martin, he's got all the aura of a lollipop lady. I think he gets another month, but after a heavy 6-0 home defeat to Liverpool at the end of the month, surely he gets the boot, making way for David Moyes. December 2024, Erik Ten Hag. Yeah, Erik Ten Hag is going to be the 3rd manager out the door this season, but I think he'll hang in there for a couple of more months, only getting his heart crushed a few days before Christmas. Ozzy, this is going to be like when Manchester United dumped Mourinho in December. I mean, when they told him the news, Ed Woodward might as well have dressed up like the Grinch and done a poo in his stocking because it was such mean timing. This time out, I reckon Ten Hag's last game is at the Etihad, where Manchester United will get absolutely schooled by about 4-0, and he will be off, given a £17.5 million severance package. But I don't think the obvious replacement will be Thomas Tuchel. No, I think the Christmas of 2024 is going to be just as ludicrous and ridiculous as the Christmas of 2018 when Mourinho left. I've never seen such underqualified toads get linked with the Manchester United job. I compare that month to January of that year, where Chelsea were wanting a new centre forward and were actively inquiring for the services of Andy Carroll, Ashley Barnes, and Peter Crouch, with Antonio Conte seemingly thinking he'd woken up at Stoke. It looked the same as it did for Manchester United, sniffing around Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Laurent Blanc, and even Steve Bruce. That mouldy trio looked like the most boring book club in the world. Even Southgate and Nicky Butt were getting outside links with the job. See, I think the club will go for another weird interim. It won't be the return of Ollie, no, but I do think it'll be another former popular player. I think ultimately it will be Ruud van Nistelrooy who will see the job through until May. But trust me, there will be another former Man United player heavily linked with this job too. Something really odd like Gabriel Hines or Henning Berg. February 2025, Oliver Glasner. Imagine anyone predicting that Oliver Glasner will lose his job this season after his ridiculous end of season purple patch form. I mean, considering Bayern Munich wanted him as their manager before they started sniffing around Burnley, he's going to be really sick to his teeth when he loses his job on Valentine's Day. But lads, we've seen the sort of ruthless edge from Steve Parrish before. Remember when he binned off Vieira? And I thought Vieira was doing well. Look, Palace are in the relegation zone having not won a match. They don't look good under Glasner anymore. In fact, he looked like a genius coach last spring. He now looks like some rapidly aging, miserable dentist who doesn't have a clue. I see this poor run continuing, and ultimately, I reckon he gets binned off in February. And here's the really strange part. With Graham Potter having since taken the England job, I think Palace go out there and prize Kieran McKenna out of Ipswich's cold, dead hands. I think the Tractor Boys will have massively declined By then, after a terrible Christmas, they will be rock bottom of the league with no whisper of survival. His stock will have dramatically fallen, but I can see Palace paying a huge £8 million compensation package for him. Lads, it is rare to see managers get headhunted halfway through a season anymore, but it used to happen all the time. I miss those days. I remember the drama of Harry Redknapp walking out of Portsmouth mid-season twice for Southampton and Spurs, or when Steve Bruce messily quit Birmingham for Wigan, with Wigan having to pay a world record compensation fee, £3 million, before Birmingham tried to replace him with the bloke who just won Italy the World Cup the year before. What a delightfully bonkers mess. We rarely see that anymore. But just you watch, this is going to be very old school, and McKenna is gonna be off. February 2025, Kieran McKenna. Yeah, okay, McKenna's not getting sacked, no. But yeah, he'll be off in a really messy, dramatic mid-season switch. Ipswich fans will say,
"Oh, he turned down Manchester United and Chelsea. Do you really think he'll betray us for Crystal Palace?"
well, yes. April 2025, Sean Dyche. Lads, I think Sean Dyche is doing a comfortable job at Everton right now, but they are in the middle of a takeover, and he has been the victim of that before. New mega-rich owners don't tend to fancy Dyche all that much. In fact, to them, he's about as attractive as Peppa Pig. And don't forget, the new American owners that came in at Burnley, they fired him in the middle of a relegation battle too, in April 2022. I mean, lads, right now, Everton are apparently sniffing on Jose Mourinho, which will never happen. Sorry, lads, but the day the special one lowers himself to work with a squad filled with Burnley centre-backs is the day I eat 10 teddy bears in one sitting. If the Toffees actually managed to have employed Champions League winners like Benitez, Ancelotti, and Mourinho all over the course of 4 years, it's gonna look so very weird. I mean, the history books will try and tell you that must have been a glory period for everything, right? But no. But look, I reckon Dyche will be unfairly sacked again. The Toffees will be about 16th in the league, but he'll go with the new owners wanting to polish off the season with a famous, massive managerial name to go with their fresh new stadium move. It won't be Mourinho, but it'll be something big like Maurizio Sarri. May 2025, Enzo Maresca. Yeah, you probably all think that Enzo Maresca is untouchable right now, right? He's having a fabulous debut season as Chelsea boss and has proven everybody wrong. So what sort of unspeakable oath would still tip him to lose his job at the end of the season? Me. The guy who's got the face of a squashed onion, that's who. Lads, who would have foreseen any of Bowley's sackings at Stamford Bridge? Who'd have thought that Thomas Tuchel would be shown the door just weeks into the new season? Who'd have thought Graham Potter would be gone less than 7 months into a 5-year deal? Again, that was me. Who'd have thought Pochettino would have gotten the chop after an insane end-of-season run where they only lost 1 of the final 14 league matches and ended the campaign with a 5-game winning blitz? But, lads, Bowley's crew seems so insane that you'd swear the Joker was secretly putting the strings. I mean, the Heath Ledger Joker, not the miserable nerd that chills at Lady Gaga. I think Chelsea will have a rough second half of the season. Performances will fall off after Christmas. His tactics will look naive when they get splattered 6-0 by Man City in January. Just you watch. All it will take is a bad run of 10 to 15 games. And I think, just like Pochettino, he gets harshly binned for the next flavour of the month. Let's say Ruben Amorim. May 2025, Julian Lopetegui. Yeah, pretty simple. Does anyone think that West Ham or Julian Lopetegui looks like a happy marriage? No. The fans don't really like him, and he doesn't seem like he's having fun. To be fair, it always takes the Hammers fans a while to warm up to their new manager anyway. I mean, I think the last one they instantly took to was Slaven Bilic nearly 10 years ago. I reckon Lopetegui's stint at West Ham is going to be just like a short fling at Wolves. 1 season and out. Come on, this is a guy who does not last long in jobs. He was given 11 games as boss of Rayo Vallecano, lasted just 1 season as manager of Real Madrid B, took around for just 18 games as boss of Porto, was given just 14 matches as Real Madrid manager, and sure, okay, he did then go on to have over 3 years and 170 games as Sevilla boss, but then it was just back to 30 matches as boss of Wolves. The man is flighty. He doesn't sit still. I reckon he's probably a nightmare to deal with. And so yeah, after an underwhelming season where he'll probably fall out with star players like Kudus and Paqueta, I reckon he actually leaves by mutual consent, and it will be mutual. Not like when you get dumped and pretend it was your idea. He'll probably take a few months out of the game before then eventually replacing Antonio Conte at Napoli in 18 months time, with the Hammers getting a monster coup like Tuchel in the summer. May 2025, Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is out of contract next summer. The Manchester City court case is heating up, and he doesn't want any of that mess. I mean, come on, next summer, that'll be 9 years. 9 years in the job. I mean, this is somebody who was burnt out after just 4 at his beloved Barcelona. Can anyone really see him extending for a 10th season? Look, we have just seen Jurgen Klopp pretty much retire by becoming an ambassador for Red Bull. Yeah, I see Pep retiring in the summer too. And Man City's next manager? Company? June 2025, Steve Cooper. Look, I don't don't think Steve Cooper is going to disgrace himself this season, no. But I don't think he's going to prevent Leicester City from the drop either. And so just like with Dean Smith in 2023, both parties will shake hands and amicably walk away. How is that so hard for me to say? I mean, actually, to be fair, I would imagine Smith was probably begging the Leicester Chiefs in private, because right now he's just some forgotten walnut coaching on the west coast of North Carolina. I think Cooper will get Leicester to scrap it out, and he will give them a chance of survival, but nah. Once they go down, I reckon he gets fired and goes back to just living life looking like a Halloween mask. Leicester's managerial appointment next summer, Rob Edwards from Luton Town. October 2025, Nuno Espirito Santo. Look, most people would have thought that Nuno Espirito Santo would be the first man to lose his job this season, but I think he's proven this guy still has what it takes to be a very good mid-table manager. And yeah, he absolutely sees out this season with Nottingham Forest, but you know what the owner is like. This evil haggard has such twitchy fingers that yeah, in a year or so, expectations will have been raised and Santo will be fired and replaced with a bigger name like Andrea Pirlo. Why not? November 2025, Ange Postecoglou. When I made this video a year ago, I said that Ange Postecoglou would be comfy in his Spurs job until what? 2030? Yeah, this gruff Australian has not looked happy in his Tottenham job for a while. In fact, he's looked pretty miserable ever since his naive tactics were exposed when Spurs were thumped 4-1 at home by Chelsea a year ago when they had 2 players sent off, and yet this former Celtic winning machine boss did not show an ounce of pragmatism to avoid a humiliating defeat against their London rivals. Instead, just telling his players to naively and aimlessly pile forward like the naive twerps from that 300 film. Look, we have seen Daniel Levy fire Spurs managers when they looked untouchable. I mean, he fired Pochettino 6 months after the Champions League final. Harry Redknapp was binned off a little over a year after they knocked AC Milan out of the Champions League. Mourinho was gone just 6 months after he had Spurs top of the league. I reckon this whole thing ends in a year. Postecoglou is virtually promised trophies in his second season. So when they don't arrive, and they won't, honestly, he'll be gone before Christmas of next year. Sacked in his 60s for a much younger, hungry, up-and-coming coach like Danny Rose. January 2026, Marco Silva. Look, Marco Silva still being at Fulham. It's not usual. Lads, this man was an incredibly flighty coach, leaving both Sporting Lisbon and Olympiacos after just a year. His stints at Hull and Watford barely lasted 6 months, and he was only at Everton for 18 months. So the fact he's coming up to 3.5 years at Craven Cottage, fair play. The bloke is finally settled down. This looks about as weird as seeing DiCaprio get a wife, and he's doing a brilliant job, but I reckon Fulham do end up sacking him halfway through next season after the results inevitably dip and European football doesn't look on the cards. But still, that'll be 4.5 years he'll have lasted in the job, and Fulham will replace him with someone ambitious like Erden Terzic. February 2026, Fabian Hürzeler. Things look pretty good for Fabian Hürzeler now, but relax, the new manager bounce eventually wears off, and yeah, by February 2026, this guy will get punted into the bin in favor of an even more random and wacky football hipster coach. Someone so young and weird his middle name is Dumbledore. June 2026, Unai Emery. Lads, Unai Emery will manage Real Madrid before he's done. I'm sorry, but he just seems like that sort of quintessential type of expert tactician that this club go for every couple of years. Someone who doesn't exactly have an overbearing monster personality, no, but they are tactically astute. A man who delivers silverware. A bit like Fabio Capello, Juande Ramos, Manuel Pellegrini, Rafa Benitez, Giulio Lopetegui. Managers who I would deem to be very cold, unfriendly, silent types. They're not exactly going to pop into the chairman's office to share a scone, but they all win trophies. See, I reckon he takes the Bernabeu job when Ancelotti leaves. Real will break the bank to get him out of Villa. June 2026, Andoni Iraola. Yeah, Andoni Iraola has recently extended his Bournemouth deal until June 2026. And I reckon he sees it out. I think he goes about having an incredible next 2 years as Cherry's boss. And before he's gone, he would have got them into Europe, I can promise you that, before taking the Aston Villa job. December 2026, Arne Slot. Lads, it's kind of crazy to think that Arne Slot has only been given a 3-year deal by Liverpool. How's that for a lukewarm vote of confidence? Look, I know that FSG have only sacked one manager at Liverpool so far, but I reckon something goes wrong. Not this season. Not even next season, the season after. Salah will be long gone, and I think Liverpool are going to really struggle to replace him. They'll miss out on the top 4. I reckon it won't just be Salah. I reckon both Van Dijk and Trent will have gone by then too. This is going to be a major transition period, and I reckon Slaw is going to be hung out to dry. But his replacement, maybe Xabi Alonso. So it ain't all that bad, lads. June 2027, Eddie Howe. Everyone seems to think that Eddie Howe is getting imminently sacked. But no. The guy has been in the Magpies for 3 years now and has done a wonderfully excellent job. Does anyone really think the Newcastle hierarchy are going to bin off somebody who took a relegation threatened team into the Champions League and to a cup final? No. Look, the man has a contract until the summer of 2027. That will be 5.5 years of being Newcastle United manager. That's longer than Sir Bobby Robson got. I reckon he sees it out after having helped his club win a trophy along the way. Honestly, this man will depart in Tyneside as a complete bona fide legend. There's going to be murmurings of having a statue outside the new ground after he lifted the FA Cup above his head. Just you watch. Eddie is here to stay. June 2027, Mikel Arteta. This is mad. Do I even truly appreciate what I'm predicting here? Mikel Arteta is somebody who I said should have been sacked in 2020 after less than a year in the job. And now I'm actually predicting that he will have 8 seasons as Arsenal manager. Yeah. I think he sees out his Gunners contract, which runs until 2027. And yeah, he will walk away having won at least one Premier League title. I reckon 7.5 years in the Emirates is long enough. And so yeah, he'll walk away with his head held high, being replaced by, let's say, his former Barcelona B teammate, Thiago Motta. Everybody wins. June 2027, Thomas Frank. Brentford will never sack Thomas Frank. Look, he will see out his contract, even if he gets relegated to the Championship by then. Absolutely. Anyway, that's the review. What do you think? Let me know. When is your manager going to get the boot? Let me know in the comments, all right? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.